NBA Straya, how are you going? It is Monday. Oh, geez. August 5. I'm your host, James Clements. Oh, that's right. Tropical Jim. Back in the saddle. Back in the old Larry Armour studios. You can also see My Ugly Mug, on Fox Sports Lab NBA, Fox Sports Lab NFL, the official AFL Supercoach podcast, AFL Today, all the good stuff. Back from Queensland. Back into the sunny climes of Melbourne. Oh, geez, I'll tell you. Oh, it's not that bad. It's beautiful, actually, today. Got some fun stories to wrap up from the holidays, but anyway, we'll talk about that in a second. Today's show, we're literally just doing a quick show before Tuesday night's game against Serbia. So we'll do a quick little Boomers and Olympic group wrap. If you've joined us for the streams, of course, we've gone through each of those games live for many hours on end on my holiday. With my family, who are apparently still okay with me. So that's good. That's a result, isn't it? Old mate hasn't just gone, right, piss off, you can stay up here. That's handy. So we'll talk about that group wrap from ABC. We'll talk about Serbia and the quarterfinals preview for each of the games that are going on Tuesday. We'll do a little bit of Opals as well. Quick couple of nars and Outback Takehouse. Just a quick one. I just wanted to jump on and do a show, basically, because we did a preview for the group. The group all happened. I was up in Queensland, didn't have my gear. Well, I had a little bit, but I'm just like, I can't be bothered. I'm on holiday. So we're going to do it now. So let's bloody get into it. Episode 1128 of NBA Straya. Oh, let's go!
G'day, this is Andrew Gaze, and you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
Watch out for the shack attack.
Oh, you better. Now, if by shack attack you mean Jim, Tropical Jim, do you mean a broken plate on the final day of your holiday that sent you to the bloody hospital? You should watch out for that one. Yes, because your old mate Jim's got 8 stitches in his leg. I had a gash wider than the bloody Grand Canyon chopped into my leg by a falling plate. It's a hell of a way to end a holiday, I'll tell you that much. But then I sat behind David Boone on the plane home. How's that for bloody roundabouts? Love that. Swings and roundabouts. So yeah, giant bloody 8-stitch gash on the front of my right leg, picking up So it was just the squid and I doing a bit of a brekkie on the final day up in Noosa. It's bloody lovely. I'm like, the squid's like, yeah, I want to do the buffet one more time. I'm like, all right, buddy, let's do it. Old mate had the baby and my parents are up there with us. They were hanging out. So it's just me and him hanging out, having a good old time. He's going back for seconds on the pancakes. I'm like, all right, I'll get you some bloody maple syrup. I've already poured the chocolate syrup on one of them. He's got the little pikelet. Pick up the maple syrup. The bloody plate sticks to the bottom of it. I sort of go to, I don't even notice it's stuck there. And it falls off, shatters, and a big chunk of it fucking slices the shit out of your mate Tropical Jim's leg. Yeah, it was wide. It was a big one. So I looked at that and went, fuck, I got to go to the hospital. And the staff there were very, very good. They cleaned it all up, drove me over. I was in and out within an hour. It was bloody great, which is good when you got a plane to catch. And then I stood behind Booney. And then I sat behind Booney. Oh, I can believe it. And then some bloody chick. You know what I hate? It's people on planes who have never clearly been on a fucking plane before. She was sitting in the exit row up against the window. The plane bloody lands. I'm like, all right, I'm going to ask Booney for a selfie. So it's very quick, easy out for him. Just go, yeah, nah, I'm good. Or just, yeah, sure, no problems. And I don't have to take up too much of his time. This fucking giant chick just wanders. She goes from the fucking window, stands up before everybody else, walks into the aisle, gets fucking 3 bags down, and puts them next to me. And I can't stand up. I've got 2 fucking kids next to me, an old mate. There's 4 people in a 3-seat bid. And she fucking cuts off my route to Booney. It was bullshit. Shenanigans. Just that one moment we were like, look, she's bigger than me. Couldn't I get the squid to fight her or something? I don't know, man. Like, it was a bit much. Anyway. But the holiday was fucking awesome. Noosa is obviously beautiful. You saw me being Tropical Jim on the live streams, sinking tins in the lovely place that we were staying. So that was really good. Had a great time. Next time I'll make sure I don't have to work on my fucking holiday. That's a good idea. Right, let's do some news. How do we start it? We start the show with the daily. It's a whip around. Not really too much news, really. You know, there's nothing sort of going on NBA-wise. It's all Olympic stuff, and that's what we'll just focus on today. So let's do it. The Boomers have made the quarterfinals. The quarterfinals are set, which is good. I mean, the way the Boomers made it was a bit weird and a bit sucky, but they bloody made it, right? And that's kind of all that matters a bit of the time. So good on them. Happy days. The tricky part, I guess, is that, you know, they didn't do too awesome in this, which we'll get to in a second. But the Booms did finish second in Group A, thanks to Canada beating Spain after the Boomers lost to Greece. Missing out on the quarters were South Sudan, Spain, Japan, and Puerto Rico. Spain's obviously the big surprise there, but it was always going to be someone out of Group A that probably missed. It was very close to being the Boomers because that Spain-Canada game was very close. But either way, they scooched through. Do the Boomers. Happy days. France play Canada now. That's an awesome matchup. You have Germany-Greece. It's not bad that the Boomers missed that one, I'll tell you. You have Brazil versus the United States. That's on our side of the bracket as well. And we have Serbia versus Australia. So let's quickly fly through the group results for the Boomers and just talk about some of those games. So obviously, I've done a little bit of a wrap on each of them on the old Facey. I was obviously doing a live stream for each of them. Boomers, Spain was a really good start, wasn't it? If you cast your mind back, was it 2 Saturdays ago? Yep. And it was a really, really good start for the Boomers. They looked the goods. They were feeling great, feeling fine. And then our bloody live stream got stopped dead in its tracks. Don't know what happened then. We got zucked. Oh, no. I think we got zucked for Canada, didn't we? Yeah. Tell you what. So 92-80, the Boomers beat Spain. Jock Landale was fantastic. The Rooster. The Weet-Bix kid was everywhere, was Josh Giddey. Bit of an early problem with his turnovers. It only got worse the next 2 games. Paddy Thrills had a couple of moments in that first game. He's feeling okay, but he was still a bit of a roller coaster, and then it went pretty well down for the Canadian game. My best mate Nick Kay, pretty handy that first game. Hasn't been that great ever since. And the Unabomber, Jack McVeigh, very handy there too. Dyson Daniels, he's been the revelation, I reckon, so far. We'll get through the good things, the bad things, the okay things after we just wrap up all those games. But 92-80, the Spanish were having a sook. They were flopping everywhere. It was weird that Gore wasn't playing do-up already. And Sergio Llull and Santi bloody Aldama were just crushing it over the Boomers. It was a bit of a tough one. But everyone did their job, and they sort of clamped Spain and beat them down the stretch. And you're like, all right, good start, good start. It was another good start against Canada. Happy days, right? It was pretty fun. You're like, oh, this isn't too bad. How we feeling, boys? And then it got a little bit more squirrely because that first half against Canada, the Boomers were leading by 4. And then it all went pear-shaped and they scored 13 points in the fourth quarter and got overrun. They lose 93-83 against Canada. It was a rough one. Dort was knocking in threes. Jamal Murray didn't have too much of an impact. Nemhard didn't have too much of an impact. But Dylan Brooks was kicking ass and taking names. Big Dick Ken Birch was crushing it. RJ Barrett absolutely slayed the Aussies. And SGA had 16. RJ had 24 in that one. He had 24, 7, and 5. And that was the first time you're really like, oh, yeah, geez. Just imagine if we could throw Dyson Daniels and Matisse Tybal on 2 of like the premier perimeter scorers in this tournament. Unfortunately, we don't have one of them because everyone's fucking too smart for that, aren't they? So, good first half for the Boomers against Canada. And then it all fucking went to shit. Oh, jeez. Giddy looked really good in the first half. and then looked bad. Paddy had an absolute Barry Crocker shocker. He was 2 of 10 in that game. Dante came in after he busted his finger, came back, and he was a massive breath of fresh air in that game. Changed the pace of it time and time again, to the point you're like, hey, why is he not playing more down the stretch? And my best mate Nick Kay had a rough one in that game. The defense got shredded in the second half. The offense fell apart, as I mentioned. And with no one to stop RJ and SGA and basically all their other little perimeter threats, they absolutely bloody crushed it. The vacuum, again, Dyson Daniels was really, really good. Jock, 16, 12, and 4. He smashed it. Good stuff. But wow, that second half, it was so dispiriting on the live stream. Everyone just in the comments just like, oh, not great. But, we knew that Canada was very good. It was pretty bloody good, Even if Paddy has a bit of a shit one against Canada, tough. You get that on the big jobs sometimes. Don't worry about it. We'll beat Greece and we'll get through the quarters, no problems. And then we lost to bloody Greece! 77-71 in one of the worst showings from the Boomers you will ever see. Horrible first half. Let everyone and Giannis go off on Greece. It's probably the weirdest part about this. Greece, it's Giannis and a couple of other blokes, right? Walkup and co. And Giannis didn't even really shred the Boomers too much. It was very much like, we have a very, very, very solid, handy team. You've got Giannis. Well, that's good, but wow, we've got just quality NBA players up and down this roster. And it just bloody sucked. The first half was one of the single worst halves you could ever imagine watching the Boomers play. And then, they fought back. They held them to, 24 points in the second half. And again, the question was asked time and time again in that Greece game and actually against Canada as well. If the offense is falling apart and your entire justification for bringing along Joe Ingles, not just for him to be a fucking spectator in his fifth Olympics. Oh, well, if the offense falls apart, we just really like it when Jingles comes in. Then why isn't Jingles coming in for 2 games straight where it's all falling apart? It makes no bloody sense. Make it make sense, Gorge. What are we doing? So, yeah, it was a bit annoying. God, it was bad. So they had 12 points in the second quarter in that game, did the Boomers. What was it? 36-53, I think. And talk about bloody dispiriting. They then held the Greeks to bloody 24 points the entire second half, but they couldn't get their offense going in that third quarter. And it was just too little too late, even though they got within pissing distance and it was like, oh, God, they're going to do it. The defense down the stretch where they sort of just had a couple of shit turnovers and gave up a couple of really crap buckets. The walk-up 3 with a minute to go to put them back up 77-70 after Dante had sort of, gotten in there, gotten us back to 70-74. But those 2 buckets, they hit 2 threes down the stretch to the Greeks. It was Toliopoulos and then Walker. And you're like, that is just backbreaking bullshit. They completely fucked it. So 77-71, that was a wildly dispiriting loss. The defense was horrible. They stunk. And I think the wrap-up that we wrote about that was King Daly came on. He was the only one that seemingly wanted to play any fucking defense, who didn't think they'd already won the game by stepping on the court. Jock did everything he could. He was fantastic. He got into a bit of foul trouble from a couple of bullshit fucking calls. Duop actually got out there for a second. Defensively didn't look too bad. Offensively was pretty rough. Dante kept shredding. Dyson was out there being like, hang on, am I the best player on this fucking team? What's going on? Giddy was shit and Paddy was shit in that game. And that was boys, what is happening here? I think the worst one for me, I'm wearing the Paddy Mills jersey. If you're watching on the YouTube, there you go. Got the Paddy Mills jersey on. I don't know what the bloody hell was going on with Paddy Mills in that Greece game, but he was playing one way and one way only, and that was, I'm going to hump my shot. And that was weird because Paddy Mills, oh, boomer culture, boomer culture, boomer culture. Then pass the bloody ball, Paddy. What are you doing? You can't hit the side of a barn, and you're taking these hero ball shots. Oh, I'm going to get to my spot. Guess what? There's a fucking defender there as well, you idiot. What are you doing? So, another case of like, hey, if the offense is broken and Jingles is there as a breaking case of emergency offensive weapon, why the fuck do we not break that case? So that was a weird one. Anyway, luckily for us, for the Boomers, Canada did their job and beat Spain later on that night. So the Boomers go through as the second seed because they lost to Greece by less than 9 points. Gross. It was bloody gross. So the good things out of the group games for the Boomers. The good things. Dyson Daniels, he's looked fan-bloody-tastic. There is a man ready to rock and or roll. I've enjoyed Dyson a lot. His threes, like when they're dropping, he looks like just an absolute world beater. He's got arms the fucking length of the goddamn Nullarbor. And if he's dropping in threes as well, watch out. His defense has been like game-changing at times. When he locks in, you're like, geez, just imagine if they had another dude on the other side. Maybe in place of my best mate, Nick Kay. Maybe by the name of either Xavier Cooks, maybe Matisse Tybal, perhaps in place of Jingler Joe Ingles, who isn't fucking playing anyway. That'd be really good. But anyway, Dyson's been fantastic. Jock Landau, the Rooster, has been absolutely immense. Jock is crushing it. He has been so bloody good in these games. He's averaging a lazy 17.7 points a game, 9.7 rebounds. He shot 67% from the floor. Not bloody bad. If only we could hit with our free throws. I'll talk about that in a second. Dante Exum's come on for the last 2 games. They have lost those 2 games, but it hasn't been because of Dante Exum. He's had just a wherewithal and a speed about him that it completely changes the complexion of a game. I enjoyed immensely. I love me some sex 'em up, Kangaroo Kobe, Dante Exum. Jack McVeigh, good thing. He's shooting 50% from 3. But he also kind of needs to quit it with the weird dumb fouls. Maybe he needs to read his own Twitter a little bit more. Like maybe spend less time crafting the next tweet and not doing dumb fouls. Just saying. Maybe. That's an idea. But the thing is, it's like, I think McVeigh he's averaging 4.7 threes a game and he's averaging only 5.7 shots a game. There's been nothing else. It's been like, cool, spot up threes. That's fine. That's your job. I would love just a couple more back cuts. The offense has just been so fucking stagnant at times. It's so much weird ISO ball with Giddy just going, hey, check this out. I'm going to do another sick turnaround floater. Oh, I missed it. Fuck. Shithouse. And Paddy getting to his spots and going, oh, bricked it. And Nick Kay missing fucking layups. And, you know, he had a dunk though, did my man Nick Kay. I love that. But that's the weirdest part. I think the fundamentally sound Nick Kay layup is such a big part of this Boomers like operation over the last, 5 years, that to not have it in this one so far is breaking my heart. Either way, McVeigh's been good. Daly came on and just sort of went, boys, check this out. This is how you fucking play defense. I'm going to come on. I'm going to disrupt everything. I'm just going to cause some fucking havoc. Paddy, what the fuck are you doing? Lackadaisical bullshit on one end, barely trying on defense. Daly comes up, and it's just fucking checking him full court. It's great. It's amazing to see. Play more Delhi. We need more Delhi. So those are the good things. Dyson, Jock, Dante, McVeigh, bit of Delhi. Love that. The okay things. Josh Giddey. He's been okay. He was fucking great against Spain. He was really good in the first half against Canada. Then he was shit in the second half and very bad against Greece. It's a weird one because Giddey's been knocking in his threes. He shot 7 of 14 the first game, 7 of 12 the second game, not bad. Then went MIA in the second half, and then 2 of 8 against Greece. The weird part is he's killing it on threes. He went 3 of 7 against Canada. He went 2 of 4 against España, and only 1 of 3 against the Grecians. His turnovers have been pretty rough. He has, I believe, 13 total turnovers. He does have 20 assists, but that's a lot of turnovers, isn't it? So, anyway, look. Giddey's been okay. Now, the bad things. Paddy! Oh, God, this breaks your heart. I love Paddy Mills. I've said this on the stream time and time and time again. Like Paddy Mills, Jingling Joe Ingles, King Daly, Nick Kay. Outside of their respective immediate families, there is not anyone in this God-given earth who loves them more than your mate Jim. Paddy has had an absolutely Barry Crocker shocker of an Olympics, hasn't he? They're -7 with him on the court across these 3 games. He was okay against Spain. He shot 6 of 12, happy days. 2 of 10 and absolutely horrible against Canada. And then 5 of 15 against Greece. Now, I'm no math magician, but if you've gone 2 of 10 and then 5 of 15, making that 7 of 25, copy, that's great. I mean, it's not great. It's fucking shit. 6 of 20 from 2. And this is it. He's got 11 turnovers and 4 assists. 11 turnovers and 4 assists. He will come good, right? Right? Maybe. We're going to find out very soon. I explained this in the stream, though. It's like his age and his lack of playing time in the NBA, I feel like, has caught up with him a bit. You can sort of look at the lack of separation. He gets to his spots, but so do the defenders. They get there with him. So he's got far less space to get his shot off. And he's like getting those nice little jumpers going here and there. And those threes, when he's like open and clear, when they go down, it looks awesome. But then there's some other ones you're like, why were you shooting that one, Paddy? What are we doing here? That was a bit of a rough one. He's got 0 points, it feels like, at the basket. He's had 7 free throws total. He had 0 in the Greece game. And that's like a long sort of storied history of Paddy with the Boomers is lightning fast, first step, get to the cup, get fouled if you're not making the layup. And that's not happening. It is absolutely brutal. I think the most disgusting aspect of it, though, is the defense. Some of this was just so un-Australian, and he's just looked off and cooked and weird these Olympics completely, right? I don't know what is going on with Paddy, but it doesn't look great. The defensive effort, like at least he's never been a defensive stopper. We get that. It's Paddy. But at least he's tried. He's at least trying in like the team defensive schemes. At the moment, he's barely fucking trying. He's like barely swiping at a ball on a fucking fast break. Put him, we saw him take like a charge, I think, in the Greece game. That used to be his bread and butter. I get that you're now 36 years old, but Jesus, Paddy, try. You see Delhi come on, he's shredding it. Anyway, other bad things. Joe Ingles, what's the point of having him there? Just Xavier Cooks or Matisse Tybalt. You know? It'd be kind of handy, I reckon. My best mate, Nick Kay, same sort of vibe. If he's giving his all, but he's not able to get a shot falling at all. And it has been very, very tough. He has had a couple of threes that were just like, oh, yeah, that's not great, is it? Oh, geez. And so he went 2 of 5 against Canada, 3 of 6 against Spain, 3 of 8 against Greece, and he hasn't hit a 3 yet, which is kind of like the back-breaking part of it, because like Nick Kay, just those 2 found threes per game every so often, you're like, that makes it worth taking him there. But defensively against Greece, just not quick enough. There's a couple of weird sort of Ben Simmons-y moments where he's like throwing out of a layup, out to a trailing Paddy and stuff like that. It was just really tough. Anyway, he's still going to hit 2 massive threes at some point in the Olympics. I just hope it's in this game against Serbia. Well, it has to be. That's what cooked. Matisse. This is a bad thing, just not having him there. It sucks. Josh Green. Bad thing. He hasn't hit a shot all Olympics. He's played in all 3 games. He has not yet hit a shot. He's 0 of 6 from the floor, 0 of 3 from downtown. He played 4 total minutes against Greece as they went, oh, fuck it, we'll give his spot to Delhi. Defense. That's a bad thing. It was awesome in the first half against Canada. They only gave up 45 points. And in the second half against Greece, they gave up 24 points. Something like that. Sounds right. 24 points in the second half. So, again, I'm no math magician. But if you give up 45 points and 29 points, you're feeling pretty good. The problem was in between. It was 53-36 in the first half against Greece and 48-34 in the second half against Canada. So in between those 2 halves, where they've looked pretty good, giving up 45 and 29, they've been outscored 101-70. Oh, geez. And the frustrating part is you can see what they're trying to do. And when it works really, really well. The inconsistency, the back cuts, the easy buckets, the open three-point shooter. It's been horrible. It has been abysmal. And then in the second half against Greece, you can see the clamps come out, and then it fucking breaks down the most important part of the game right at the end where they give up 2 threes that breaks the back of the game for you in the last 2 minutes. It's been brutal to watch. And this is what happens when you play a one-way player like Paddy, and you've got a bunch of dudes trying to cover up for him, and one of those dudes is my best mate, Nick Kay, who, try as he might, isn't as defensively gifted as Matisse Tybalt or Xavier Cooks. Like, you can get away with that stuff if you've got like another half decent stopper at like the 3-4. Like, Dyson out there is good. Giddy has been handy. He's been pretty bloody good on the rebounding as well. But defensively, he still gets beat. He still gets lost in transition. He still gets lost on switches and stuff. And it's really frustrating to watch. So the defense needs to kick up a gear against Serbia, or else they're fucked. And the coaching. That's the bad thing too, hasn't it? If someone could explain the rotations, I'd fucking love to hear it. Because I think we've said this time and time again during the streams, it's like, I don't know how you feel, but I think the coaching approach of let's throw shit against the wall and see what sticks is probably not a great one during the Olympics. What are we doing? It felt like the World Cup all over again. Remember the World Cup last year where we were shit? Yeah, it wasn't good. It never felt settled, and that's the problem with the defense. If you're not settled in your rotations, people aren't entirely sure how to play off each other, where they're meant to be, who they're meant to be covering. When the roles are changing so damn much with all the different personnel and like so little time is being given to getting these dudes into some sort of defensive rhythm, yeah, you can see why it all falls apart. Like one time it's Will Magnay, then it's Duop, and then it's Greeny, then it's Daly, and then Jock's back out there and you're like, what the fuck is going on? Who's out there? Oh, God. Is McVeigh out there? Oh, where's Nick Kay? Have we seen him again? Oh, Duop's not playing again. What the fuck is going on? It's just been such an absolute just like slow motion car crash watching just like, oh, God, hopefully this helps. Oh, God, hopefully this works. You should have that figured out by now. That's like why you're playing games against China and stuff who suck. Like we get it. That's a shit team. You're playing like warm-up games against them. By the time you've played those games in like Dubai or whatever they were doing, you got to have that shit figured out by the end of that. By the end of the Spain game, it was looking pretty good after that first half against Canada when they solved it and Canada just went, oh, well, who's going to stop RJ? And they're like, oh, the Aussies like, fuck, no one. And they don't break out jingles. It just made no damn sense. And so, yeah, those are some bad things. Those are some okay things. And those are some good things. I remain optimistic, though. We'll get to that in a second. Right, the rest of the group. So how did it all wash out? Canada ended up on top of Group A. Australia second and Greece third. Canada have looked great. Only just snuck by Spain. So Spain finished fourth. They're out. Germany, France, and Brazil get through from Group B. Not bad. Good on them, I reckon. And, I mean, that's fantastic for Brazil, isn't it? Like, it's just kind of neat. I think it's very cool. Group B. So, like, Brazil going 1 and 2. They beat Japan. Happy days. They lose to Germany. They lose to France. Brazil are kind of feisty. They're kind of fun. Good on them. And then USA, Serbia. USA were fine. They've had like their own problems where it's like Jason Tatum sits out. You know, Steve Kerr just goes, I'm not going to play you now. And then starts him game 2. Sits him again game 3. Joel Embiid's been in and out, whatever. But USA's no real hassles, right? Took care of Serbia. They were cruising from there. South Sudan got dogged by the refs against Serbia. Royal Ivy had some thoughts about that. Wasn't great. But either way, Puerto Rico, they've battled manfully, but they've finished minus 73 for the tournament. So, bit of a rough one. Australia did still manage to finish minus 4 after their 3 games and 1 and 2, but they do get through. So, happy days there. So, outside of that, the Group B one has been the fascinating one for me, right? Germany and France. Don't mention the war. Germany are unreal. They're World Cup champions. Like, I think there was some tweet floating around there like, y'all don't even realize that Germany are good. It's like, no. Americans don't realize that Germany are good. Everybody else who pays attention to hoops and isn't American understand that Germany's fucking awesome because they won the World Cup. The one that the USA didn't. They didn't even medal in, remember? Yeah. Germany are great. That 85-71 win over France was huge, but they're kicking the crap out of it. They beat Japan by 20. They smashed Brazil by 13. France only got by Japan in fucking overtime. They lost to Germany, just like in the war. France also, so they beat Brazil as well. And you're like, all right, cool. France have got some big questions, though, and the way that the bracket is sort of, flushed out that Germany and France can meet again if France get by Canada in the quarters. But this would be a disaster for France. Like, it's a disaster getting Canada If you're France, you're like, this is a pretty bad situation for us. No, we have to take on Canada. They only half speak France. Oh, geez, they have no size, though. We should be able to dominate. And you're like, oh, who are those wing defenders you got there, France? And like, we have Nando De Colo and Nick Batum. And you're like, oh, you're cooked, mate. Cooked, mate. Cooked. The Group B has been fascinating. Germany have been incredible. USA, Serbia, handy. Serbia been pretty good as well, obviously. Now we're about to talk about them. So there you go. That's sort of the wrap up. Let's take a very brief break, come back with the quarterfinal previews and some ENRs, and then get back out of your hair right after. Let's hear from bloody Hammer. That sounds good. What do you think?
This is Shane Heal, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
Oh, bloody right. Let's do it, shall we? We're going to play a bit of a song. Let's do a song. Oh, yeah, there you go. All right, we usually play that during the old All right, so let's do a bit of a quarterfinal preview. The men's side, I will also talk a little bit of the Opals in a second, but quarterfinal preview are all happening, I believe, on Tuesday night, aren't they? So it's like 7 p.m. So the first cab off the rank is Germany-Greece at 7 p.m. on Tuesday. Then we go into a Serbia-Australia at 10:30. Then we've got France-Canada at 2 a.m. And we've got Brazil-USA at 5:30. That is a big night of hoops. It's going to be pretty fun. So Germany and Greece, France-Canada is one side of the bracket. The other half is Brazil-USA, Serbia-Australia. So if Australia win through, they have to play the Yanks probably. If Brazil pull off that upset, it'd be pretty crazy, I'll tell you. But the first one is obviously Germany versus Greece at 7 p.m. on Tuesday. Germany are 8.5-point favourites. That feels about right because they do have all the big bodies. You've got Wagner's, you've got Danny Tice, you've got Dennis Schroeder, you've got Obbs. You've just got talent on that roster. I like Germany minus 8.5 against Greece. I think Greece, they were like, that second half against the Boomers is way more indicative of what they are. And I think I mentioned this at the end of my little rap. Like, if you want to be held at the highest esteem of, like, the Boomers want to keep saying, like, rose gold. All right, now it's gold vibes only. Great. Then you got to beat teams who you're meant to fucking beat in tournaments like this. You can't roll over and be shit against a team like Greece. You're meant to kick the fuck out of Greece. And the fact that they came to that complacent is so fucking infuriating. Anyway, I'm taking Germany to kick the absolute shit out of Greece. Greece, God bless their cotton socks, but they're going to get cooked by the Germans. Give me, oh God, that's a bad fucking reference. Minus 8.5. Give me the Germans minus 8.5 over Greece. Then we'll do Serbia Australia last. We then have obviously France Canada. This game is awesome. I'm going to take France plus 7.5. Even though I just sort of mentioned that Canada's got like a pretty crazy, perimeter attack, but France still has Wemby. He's averaging a 17 and 10 and 3. Rudy Gobert is only 6 and 6. He's not being able to make any fucking shots. Nick Batum's a 10 and 3. Fournier's averaging 10. That piece of shit, Gershon Yabusele, is out there doing pretty well. I just think they'll be able to stick with Canada. Use Wemby. Use a bit of Gobert. Use their size to their advantage. I'm going to take France plus 7.5. Wouldn't surprise me if Canada pulled off the win, though, but won it by like 4 or something. Very similar to the Spain game, but everyone's actually trying. Canada's loaded. I think they win that. France just cover the 7.5-point spread, though. Brazil are 27.5-point underdogs against the USA. I'm going to take Brazil plus 27.5. We haven't seen the USA just like, well, they kind of have. They've had a couple of big ones, haven't they? Where they're just like, oh, yeah, check this out. We're just going to bloody curb stomp South Sudan. But even then, they only beat them by 17 points. And even then, like, they only beat Puerto Rico by 21. Like, they're sort of just cruising along, doing their thing, right? They beat Serbia by 26, but still. I'm going to take Brazil plus 27.5. I think they stick with them. I think they just hang out. This might be the one where USA kill them by 50, actually. Oh, yeah. I might swing that around. Because it does feel like there's one of those just absolute put them to the sword games coming for the USA, doesn't it? And it might be that one. Yeah, actually, I'm going to switch that. Give me USA minus 27.5. But then the big one that we're looking forward to, Tuesday at 10:30, we will be doing a NBA Straya live stream from the NBA Straya studios. Hanging out, smashing tins to 10:30 on a Tuesday night. That's going to be pretty chaotic. But the Serbians have been very good. They roll 10 deep. Obviously, headlined by Nikola Jokic, Bogdan Bogdanovic. But Matisse has been fantastic. Jovic has been very, very handy for them as well. Guduric hasn't been able to hit much, nor Dobric. Petrosev's all right. They're deep and they're together. Serbia's going to be fucking hard to get by. I'm taking the Boomers plus 6.5, however, because I think we've got a good game in us. Right? I think we've got another Spain game where we can actually go, all right, if we throw some more size out there just to try to maybe slow down Jokic, or if you just go, hey, Jokic, what are you going to do? Put up 50, 10, and fucking 10? Have at it, boy. That's fine. We're going to stop everybody else. The problem is Bogdan's really fucking good. And Jovic can get off the leash really, really quick. Micic can too. Micic should be the silent killer. Where you'll turn around and he's like, fuck, he's got 10 points. Where'd they come from? They've taken 79 threes in their 3 games of the Serbs. They're only shooting 26%. So if we can cover their 3-point shooters, so they've gone 26 of 79. So if we can cover their 3-point shooters, we're going to give ourselves a chance. The Boomers have actually taken 75 threes and hit 29 of them, which is not a bad percentage. And amazingly, that includes Nick Kay going 0 of 5, Greeny going 0 of 3, and Duop throwing up 2 of the most egregiously bad 3-pointers you'll ever see. So if we can hit our threes, we're going to give ourselves a real fucking chance against Serbia. That's why I really like the Boomers plus 6.5. As bad as that outing was against Greece, I think Serbia, of all the actual good teams that ended up in the 1-2 spots throughout, so that'd be Canada, France, Germany, USA, and the Boomers in Serbia. Serbia is probably the one that the Boomers will like their chances against the most. So it'd be really nice, though, if the Boomers could hit their free throws. They are 33 of 52 at this point. That is absolutely bloody brutal. Hit some free throws, would you? Getting to the line, talk about costing yourself some games. But, I mean, the big question for the Boomers is, like, what does that lineup look like, right? Do they go bigger, move K to the bench and send in Duop to basically tag team with Jock and sort of see how they go against Jokic? Do they do that? They could really roll the dice as well and move Paddy to the bench, start Dante. I don't think they will, but they probably should. Dante plays on both ends. Fuck, Delhi plays on both ends. And this is one of those interesting cases in the Boomer culture. I would not be surprised if Paddy comes out and plays a game of his life again, right? Like this could be Slovenia 2.0, the bronze medal game, drop 41 on their heads, and make us all look like idiots, which is entirely conceivable. Like in terms of like the Serbian defense, like this is the game where Paddy has to just have at it. Because Serbia, look, what they've done so far is they gave up 110 points to the USA. Yep, you get that on the big jobs. They smashed Puerto Rico 107-66. But gave up 85 to a very, very feisty South Sudanese team, 96-85. They win that. They can be got, and Paddy could be getting them. It'd be good to see him go out and get them. I'm just saying we need Paddy to go, righto, boys, we can do this. So, I don't know. You know that he's earned it, and you know that Gorge will stick with him. But wow. Wouldn't the move be interesting if they go, fuck it. Dante, he's played 2 games. He's got 10, 3, and 5. Shooting 40% from 3. Actually plays on both ends. Suddenly you could roll out there with Dante, Giddy, Dyson, Duop, and Jock. See how that goes? I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if they play Greeny or Delhi. But look, I think the Boomers can beat this Serbian team. I'm taking the Boomers plus 6.5. Let's go, boys. You can join us 10:30 on Tuesday night as we watch along and go through that. But it's going to be a fascinating matchup. I can't wait to see if Paddy Mills can write one more entry into the echelon of excellence that he has with this Boomers squad. And all the stories that sort of came out over the course of the of this Olympic run about the Joe Ingles situation, Matisse being left off the team, etc. We talked it out during the stream, so go back and watch those if you want. But for a man who talks about culture and about team so much, I can't imagine that is exactly how it all went down. But we need him to stand up when we need him most. He's looked completely discombobulated and out of sorts at times so far. But in Paddy we trust for this one. If it all goes a bit pear-shaped, do they bother playing jingles? If they don't, what the fuck was the entire point there? Just saying. But either way, look, so with those quarterfinals set up, as I've sort of said, France against Canada, I think Canada can win that. Germany, I think they beat Greece. USA, I think they beat Brazil. I think we beat Serbia. It does still feel like the USA's team they are obviously the team to beat, but bloody hell, Germany. They will fancy their chances of taking over, like topping that USA team, won't they? And so they should, because they play awesome basketball, this German team. Like, it sucks when we lose to them, obviously, but they are just so bloody good. And they are so balanced. Like, nothing seems to really just get under their skin and fluster them. Like, Schroeder and Franz Wagner have been really good. Danny Tice loves his FIBA ball. You got Isaac Bonga doing crazy stuff. Obst is obviously just carving it up. He's shooting, 38.5% from three so far. You've got Big Mo Wagner, hello, and his big pumpkin head. Bloody hate him, but still. You got Mauro Law, stuff like that. So, I don't mind Germany. But it's still the USA's gold to lose. They've fucking assembled the Avengers and, all the expectation in the world is on them. That's a great spot for an upset. Let's go Boomers. All right, let's do some quick yeah-nahs before we get out of your hair. Roswell32. So I was from Twitter. If Gorge runs out with Jock and Duop or Will at this, or Jock and Duop / Will at the same time whenever Jokic is on the court, I like our chances. Need to take the attack to him, make him work and potentially get him in foul trouble. A full relentless first half of this should set us up well. Also, more Delhi, Jack and Greeny. Yeah, nah. Yes. I love this. More Delhi, Jack and Greeny. Give it a bit more. Look, I think the threat of the three-point shot from McVeigh has been really, really good. The big problem is that the consistency of sort of everybody else from the three-point line is really sort of where it's been killing us a little bit, where Paddy's been hot and cold. Giddy's had a couple of little moments, but you know that he's like not the world's, most knockdown shooter. And if you just watch the Boomers as they play, you can watch just the opposition go, oh, I don't have to check Giddy that hard, which makes it so much tougher for everybody in the paint, which is probably one of those reasons why you're not seeing Paddy drive into the teeth of the defense as much as he has in the past. Just that little bit lack of space. Dyson, once he gets hitting those threes, God, it's good to see him play, but just the consistency needs to be there. But I love the idea of the double bigs just to try to work over Jokic and just fucking hope for the best. Be nice if Jock and Doc, dump in a couple of threes on him too. Josh Robb, this is where I think Xavier Cooks would have been better than Nick Kay. Good on the boards, decent defender, but actually brings some offense to the court. I'm not actually sure why Kay is there. Jingles brings experience, but it's useless while sitting on the bench. Yeah, nah, look, my best mate Nick Kay, I love him to death. Missing all of his threes that he's taken so far is really just a kick in the dick, isn't it? It sucks. Like, at least Xavier Cooks gives you that rim running threat as well. That sort of drive just into the teeth, a little bit more athleticism. That's been the biggest sort of drop off, I reckon, for the Nick Kay vibe of like, oh, here's 10 and 5, just nonstop. And you can see why Gorge is sort of all about it, right? He's like, look, Nick Kay's just done me solid the last bunch of times. 10 and 5, off we go, boys. And Xavier Cooks might have been a better look here. And Matisse as well, right? Like, just we've seen him get hot from three. He doesn't mind the FIBA stuff, and his defensive chops are crazy. But the athleticism with him and Dyson on the court would be so fucking terrifying and awesome to watch. It breaks my heart. That's a good one, Josh. LA Cot Dog, talk to you blue in the face, but Duop ain't getting a proper run because I bet he cracked it at hearing his Blazers teammate was getting screwed over for Paddy's Old Boys Fest. Yeah, nah. Oh, don't know if Duop is feeling that bad about Matisse and his, Portland Trailblazer teammate-isms, but I think Duop would just be like, what am I doing? Like, why the fuck is Will the Thrill Magnay playing over the top of me? Like, I can actually fill it up. I can play a bit of defense. I'm bigger. than him. What are we doing here? That's a good one, Hot Dog. All right, and then Dan D. I love this one. Yeah, nah, Steve Kerr is just trolling the Celtics. First picking White over Brown, which also sounds racist, as he points out. Now sitting Tatum the entire game against Serbia, and then just absolutely screwing him around again, which is, I've loved the Steve Kerr experience. He's just, like the Outback Takehouse unpopular opinion of the day for years on the old NBA Straya has been, Steve Kerr won the 22, won 2015, laughing. Need two in between here, Kevin Durant. Just saying, when you've got all the best players ever playing on your team, Steph hasn't really been too great. Tatum getting out there for fuck all minutes has been hilarious. I've enjoyed that immensely. He played 17 minutes against South Sudan, 23 against Puerto Rico, and he had the 0 against Serbia. Is he just trolling the Celtics? I reckon Steve Kerr is just like, oh. It's a very easy explanation, right? It's like, yeah, finals MVP, great. Still should have been Jaylen Brown. But Tatum is a good rebounder. He's a good passer. He's a good three-point shooter. He's a good scorer. He's also not the best at any of those four things on this team. So he's a very good across-the-board player, but he's also that little bit more of a ball stopper than what Kerr might be wanting out there. Yeah, so that's pretty easy, I think. All right, very brief Outback Takehouse. What do you reckon? Should we do it? Oh, that's the wrong button, Jim. What are you doing? Where's the button for it? Oh, I don't even remember. It's been a while since I've done one on the old NBA Straya bloody one. There we go. I think this is... Nah, he's got to find it over here. There we go. Go to the other one. It's Monday at Outback, and you know what that means? Oh, yes. Just Roo Burgers. We're talking about boomers all day on NBA Straya. Once you've done that, go sort out a Roo Burger with a couple of Roo Bangers by the side. That's right. We're eating our national our emblem only at Outback. And today's Flame Grill take is... Canada will beat France, then Germany will beat Canada. Then the USA will beat Brazil, and then we'll beat USA because they're afraid of Jock and Paddy. And then boom, we get revenge on Germany for the World Cup and gold for Australia. Only at Outback. Hey, anything can happen once you make a quarterfinal. That's what I've been saying from the fucking start. Make the quarterfinals, worry about it from there. Who gives a shit? We are there now. You win 3 games, you got a gold medal. Of course, one of those games is likely to be against the USA. But beat Serbia. Then you're in a semi-final. And then eventually you'll be, in a medal match. Let's bloody go. Calm the Boomers. Oh boy. All right, so how's everybody else feeling? Are they good? I hope so. All right, the Opals, as I mentioned, they have been absolutely crushing it. I love that they beat Canada just after the Boomers had a shocker against them. And then they're also now playing Serbia after they beat France awesomely earlier this morning. So great job of the Opals. I've really, really, really enjoyed this Opals team. It's just been like a really fun squad. The first game was not much fun. Right? So once they sort of got over the disappointment of the first shockingly bad loss, they've sort of really, like, the way that they sort of bounced back and beat Canada and then France, 79-72 over France, 70-65 over Canada, after losing to bloody Nigeria in game 1 and all looked just cooked. They were so good in those second 2 games that it was just like, oh, here we go, the girls. Go get them. And that's what they've been doing. So I've loved it. I love Tolo. LJ out there has been crushing it. They're just a really, really fun squad. And I also love that we've now got to play Serbia again in that gear. So you had what? Alana Smith's been awesome. I've loved Sammy Wickham. Tess Magden obviously was fantastic against France. So Ezzy Magbegor has been awesome. Magbega. And Tolo. She has just been such an absolute rock. Kayla George. Fucking love Kayla George. So they have their quarter against Serbia, 7 p.m. on Wednesday. That's going to be awesome. So go the girls. It's going to be fun as. Can't bloody wait. Hope they kick the crap out of them. All right. And that'll be it, I reckon, for today. We might pop it. So we're obviously going to be doing the live stream for Serbia, 10:30 on Tuesday night. And then we'll do a bit of a wrap-up show, obviously, after that, I reckon, on Wednesday. Probably be in the office for that, so off we go. Should be bloody good, I reckon. So in the meantime, make sure you're following NBA Straya on all the socials, all the good stuff, right? What do we got? Twitter, Facey, IG, TikTok, all that good stuff right there, mate. We're all over the socials. Get around NFL Australia with myself and Gaz. We'll be kicking that off very, very, very soon again. And of course, AFL Today Show. I'll be back on that on Wednesday. Bloody good. What else? The Cricket Today podcast, Football Today podcast, Hold All Tickets, all those shows. Check us a rating and review on your Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube. Get around the YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to that as well, all the live streams go out through YouTube. And the cool thing is you can actually pause the live YouTube stream and catch up to wherever you're watching. As we've discussed on the streams time and time again, it doesn't matter. It's like the 9 actual TV feed seems to work best. But who fucking knows? You know, it's absolutely crazy. Anyway, just rate and review it as well. That'd be handy. Get around NBAstraya.com/shop. Get your merch. And a big thanks always goes to From Oslo for their intro and outro song. Check out the new band House Hats. As well as Joshua De Laurentiis, Fascinator, Gold Mines, Ramshackle Army, Iowa Section, Green, and Dozers for all the tunes you hear throughout the show. Smash them all on Bandcamp, Triple J and Earth, Face, Apple Music, Spotify. Remember, NBA Straya Sports Australian bands. And we're going to close out today's show with a very, very special report from Dally. That's right. He's phoning in from Gay Paris. It's going to be fun as for his pop culture review. That'll be fun. All right, so we will see you tomorrow night for the live stream. The game's at 10:30. We'll probably jump on about 10:15. I'll have nothing else to do. I'll just be sitting there twiddling my thumbs. Might even start at 10. Just sink some beers, talk some shit. We'll see how we go. But either way, keep an eye out for that. Hopefully don't get zucked again. That was weird. Don't know what happened there, but either way. So live stream tomorrow at 10:30. Then we'll have another NBA Straya on after that on Wednesday to wrap it all up for you. Sound good? Good. Great. Right. Until then, look after yourselves. We'll catch you tomorrow night for tins and a stream. There's NBA Straya saying, look after yourselves, would ya? And let us know. Oi, how the fuck is? It's your old mate Deli over here just swinging by to drop in a pop culture review from Gay Paris. That's right, it's in France, because I'm over here in the Olympics, aren't I? It's been bloody good, hanging out in the village and shit with my boys, just chilling, illing, doing a bit of thrilling. Tell you what, though, didn't enjoy that loss to Greece, mate. Like, I got chucked in. I'm like, Gorge, put me in again. He's like, fucking shut up, Deli. I'm like, nah, man, put us in. And he's like, no, shut up, Dally. And then we're getting beaten. He's like, all right, bloody get in. I'm like, ah! And off I ran. It was bloody sick. I love a Suva as much as the next bloke, but fucking hell, I hated those Greek pricks. Oh, I'll tell you what. Anyway, so the cool thing is, like, hanging out with the boys, like, we're just having a couple of good culture nights and shit like that. Like, you know, just, like, really getting in the Aussie spirit, hanging around, because they're not, you know, boozing or nothing in the athletes' village and shit. Because you got to stay at the top of your game. Like, this is just, like, real fucking hardcore stuff. And I've fought my way back to make the bloody squad and shit. So, yeah, I'm not going to fuck it up now, am I? So, it's been pretty good. Thought about smuggling a couple of Rona tins, but nah, she's all right. Anyway, the cool thing is, they're like, right, hey, everybody bring your favourite, like, Aussie movie or music or whatever you want to fucking bring in. And we'll get together and we'll do it. And I'm like, fucking, there's only one answer for this. It's going to be Crocodile Dundee. 1 and 2. I fucking love it when he's in New York and shit, and then they're in the jungles, and it's just fucking magical. So I made everybody watch Crocodile Dundee's 1 and 2, and I'll tell you what, I'd almost forgotten how fucking good they are. They're just like, it's, to be honest, they haven't aged well, but still, you know, bloody good. How good's that bloody Ernie Dingo? Oh, what a legend. Anyway, so Crocodile Dundee's like 1 and 2. If you haven't seen him for a bit, go watch them because they're like fucking unreal, man. So like each of them gets like 100 out of 10 Dally ones, you know. Like they're just fucking ace as, man. So get around them, get around the boys as well as we're going to take on Serbia tomorrow night and shit. So yeah, hope you're watching NBA Straya with my mate Jim. It's going to be fucking sick as, right? Later, fuckers. Go the Boomers. Goal vibes only. Later.